now you have a layers and the layers work as a union file system. But how this really works, the overlay file system understand this as a few separate steps. There is a one called lower dir, lower directory, right? Then next one you have upper directory, okay? Then other one you have a merge, and then other one you have a work directory, okay? So what does this do for us? What does this do for us? Lower directory mean your all read only layers. We call image layers, right? Image layers. That's one lower directory. Okay? The upper directory mean your write layer. Why we need a write layer? We need a write layer because we need to temporarily write certain things while the Docker is running. We have a upper directory, right? The merge is the place you see this as combined together, okay? And the work directory, specifically kernel use the operation called COW, copy on write. Okay? So I'm going to explain how that works in a while. So this is the kernel kind of a temporary workspace. But what we really need to focus on the lower dir and the upper dir. And what are the techniques? Container use to avoid getting a large file system or a copy gigabytes of size files here and there. So there are certain techniques this design is using based on this architecture, right? So now you can map, if you have a from run copy, it create 3 different layers. Those are read only, those come in image, right? And then when you run time, if you get a Docker image, you don't have a write layer, okay? The write layer only being created when the Docker start to run. So now it creates the writable layer, and then so you have this is the layered file system. There are few sections: lower dir, upper dir, and merge and the workspace. Lower dir is the reflecting this one. We are going to see in a while how it's going. And the upper dir mean the write layer, and merge mean the union, where the real union happen, right? Where the real union happen. So you see this as a merge together, and then the work directory kernel use for the copy and write operation. So I exactly don't remember this path, right? As I remember, it's a var lib docker overlay, and then you have a container ID, okay? Don't count on me this, I exactly don't remember, right? So now in this location, what happened, for the lower directory, you have a file called lower dir. For the upper directory, you have, it's not upper dir, I'll see what it is. And then for the merge, for the work, you have a work, right? I don't remember the other two. So there are 2 other directories here, okay? So those directories physically represent your files, right? Those directories physically represent your file. So the answer for her question, where this been created, it is not created as like this. What happens is, this is the where your overlay file system lies on your machine and then the host, and then these locations it's create the directories separately, right? So those directories keep their files. Now see this one, okay? So now see this one. If you, let's say Now there is a file in this layer, right, the read only layer. The file, let us say get the etc host file, right, etc host file. Now container wants to modify this read only file, right, container wants to modify this read only file. Now what it does is, it take a copy of this host file, right, let us say etc host file is here, it take a copy of this file into this layer, okay, and edit it. Now how the union file system works is, now since this file is overwritten by this in the right layer, it get the precedence. Let us say etc host file originally has called xyz, and you take a copy and you modify the copy as ABC. Now total file system, if you see what is the etc host file value, it sees as ABC. But if you go really inspect in your file system, the value is still in this directory, it's a XYZ, right. If you check in the lower directory file, it will be XYZ. But if you go and check the work directory file, okay, I remember, upper directory goes as a diff, okay. If you go and check in the diff directory, you will see the value as ABC. If you go in this directory, you will see as XYZ. You understand? So this is called copy on write, right. If you want to write, you want to copy, take a copy, right. It's a very clever design. So now only the files being modified will stay there while the original file is there, okay. When some point you want to go back to the original, you just a matter of removing this file, go to diff directory and remove the file what you updated. So now you have the original value again. It's a very clever design. This also I remember this also merged. So now you know the 4 directories name. Why do we need to do it? Okay, so now if you get the, so very good question, why really need to do this? So you asking why need to copy or why need to modify?
Why have it separate? What's the purpose, the use case?
You mean read and write separately?
Yeah.
Okay, that's come in the next. So what is the benefit of doing this? This is go and double check whether this is a lower DIR or the lower. As I remember, it's a lower, not the lower DIR, but I'm not pretty sure.
It's easy to move to the lower directory and upper directory, or it's a full complete?
It's a complete. It's a complete view.
Complete copy, or?
It doesn't have a copy. It's just a view, right? It's keep a view for from like it's like if you get the table and a view database, the view is there. You feel like there are data inside that, but we don't contain the data, right? Something like that. So now this we discuss if you want to modify the file from the read only layer, right? So now what you need is, there is a file in the read only layer called, let's say there is a file in the read only layer called etc name. I want to delete this file, but this is where is in the read only layer. Read only layer mean is stay in the lower DIR. So now I cannot delete the file. Why? Because read only. So the technique they use is, again they copy this file into the writable layer and rename this as a whiteout file, right? The whiteout file means, so when the union file system works, it gives the precedence to the writable layer. If there is any whiteout file, then it doesn't show. It kind of a saying, just please hide this file. That doesn't mean if you go to physically, file is not there, file is there. But the union, the merge layer don't see that file. When they compose the merge layer, they don't compose that file. Okay? So now understand, right? So if you are adding a file, it directly go to the write layer. If you edit a file, it used the copy on write, it copy from the lower layer and put into the upper layer and edit the file. So the union or the merge take that as a precedence. Host file is here, this get the precedence. If you delete the file, still that copy that file into the right layer and mark that as a whiteout file. So when the merge happen, it just ignore the file, right? So now you have answer for the mysterious question how this Docker delete the files. You can delete files in the Docker, but this is how internally the delete happens.
Whiteout thing, both files get deleted or only the right?
Nothing get deleted. Okay. Delete means we create other file and mark this is a deleted file.
But it's still there.
Both files are there. Original files is there, the created file is there, right? But it marked as a whiteout. Now someone will think, okay, Docker is working as it's working. So why do we need to know all those things, how the Docker underlying works, or I don't care how it works. It works. Here's the real problem. Let's say Docker is running, right? Something happened or some misconfiguration happened, someone go and did something wrong into the Docker, right? So let's say Docker is running, someone like during some debug go session or something went inside the Docker and delete the file, right? So now you are done, like you don't know how to recover it. But now you know exactly where those files physically stays and you can go here and with the sudo privileges you can do certain things to get the files back. That's one. Okay. The second, I mean, when you do that, it's violating the Docker contract. You have to be very careful, but technically doable. The second one is we can inspire by these type of architectures. For example, one time I wanted to sync a file from all other district office to a head office. Now the problem I face, during the file is created to the server, there is no one knows file create is complete or not, and then the server is trying to consume the file because server sees a file. These are gigabyte size files. It try to consume and then in the middle only it realize this file is not complete. So now it tagged as a corrupted. So what I did easily, I created the 0-byte file with this type of kind of a pending file and then start to create the file. When the transmit is complete, I delete the pending file, right? So now the server side, when the reading, if there is a pending file, it knows, okay, this is, or you go another way around. One is complete, you create a complete file, the file name dot complete. So if the complete file is there, it knows this is to process, right? So if you see the Chrome downloads happens, when the download, it says dot incomplete or some sort of a file, that's how it goes, then only rename, right? So those, one way or the other, same kind of techniques. We can inspire by these techniques in order to do our solutions. That is why importance of learning these type of how Linux solve these problems, how Docker solve these problems, because these are tested and proven for years.